Yo, they are so desperate to get women to marry. Even old dudes. Golden Bachelor. Now, I've already covered The Golden Bachelor and how stupid that show is. Like, you're literally setting yourself up to be a hospice wife. The dude's like 72. And all the women on that show, except for a few, are like 10 years or more younger. How do you think that's going to turn out? It's not going to turn out well for those women. That guy has maybe few more years left of him being active, and then he's going to get sick and she's going to like nurse him until he dies. Unless, he's a terrible person to live with, and then he'll like unalive her through her nervous system. Anyway, I want to talk about a piece in the New York Times that just came out. Okay, first of all, like this is the photo they used. It's like, ew, already does not look appealing for women. So they interviewed this woman named Janet. She basically said online dating is confusing and weird, especially for women. And she made the mistake when she joined Bumble of checking something casual because, she hasn't been in the dating world since online dating became a thing and didn't realize that lots of men will be very bold in how they dehumanize you on dating apps. So when she checked something casual, because she wasn't really sure if she wanted, to be in a relationship after a 30-year marriage that ended in divorce. Now, they don't go into what the divorce was about, but if we know it's trending now is either her husband left her for a younger woman, or she finally got sick of his crap and was like, I'm out of here, right? And Hope Pedler's The Great Divorce. This is another example of that. So she didn't know if she wanted a relationship because look, I just did not want to have to take care of anybody anymore. Now she says it's after her children were grown, but how much you want to bet she was taking care of that man? Like so many women her age. And a lot of women don't realize how much their husbands really don't like them until the kids are out of the house and they're not completely overwhelmed all the time with parenting on their own. But maybe she wasn't taking care of her husband. So already I'm a little worried about this woman because she says on their third date, she drove 3 hours from her home to his so they could spend the weekend together. They have spent nearly every weekend together since, playing Yahtzee and cribbage, cooking, and having what Ms. Ha describes as mind-blowing schmecks. Okay, this is not looking good for her, y'all. Do you see? She probably, hopefully, will not end up with this man because, first of all, she's driving 3 hours to go see him. You should not be doing that. No, he should be driving 3 hours to come see you. But now they're spending every weekend together. How much you want to bet it's her driving to his place all the time? I swear to God, y'all, I learned this from my own dating experience and from those of my friends. Anytime there's a long distance or even like from one borough to the other, if you're the one doing the driving, doing the commute, the wear and tear on your car, the gas, the effort, the time to go to their turf, that is major king baby energy. He's in his little throne and his little, and he's just like, come to me. Now, don't be fooled. A lot of these men will also be, are hobo schmeguals in later in life too. So if they're coming to your place all the time, make sure it's because they actually are making effort and not because they don't have a home or they're like secretly married, because men lie. Now, it's interesting because she's older and patriarchy and the dating world in general has gone through many shifts since she first started dating, right? Women who are older are not looking for a partner to have children with, right? I mean, these women are long beyond menopause. Like the stakes are not as high for women who are older, because by then they probably have their own money. They've gotten rid of their older king baby and they're taking care of themselves. And look, she's like, I used to be afraid to show up who I really was in a relationship before because they might leave. And I don't have to do that at all anymore. So what I really am encouraging women to do on my page, have this attitude when you're young too. You're not doing yourself any favors by driving 3 hours to go meet him or pretending to be someone you're not or doing anything to keep him from leaving you. That is you valuing him over yourself, you valuing him over your own safety, because relationships with men that don't end up well can take your life. Remember? But what's really interesting is that whether you're young or old, I'm not saying that men don't experience this too, but look at it. Even older women are getting, facing gaslighting, ghosting, all the stuff. But listening to this man right here go on the record. Now, he didn't use his last name. Thank God for him. I kind of wish they had, so women could beware of this. The 61-year-old guy was like, after his marriage of 25 years ended in divorce. Again, we don't know why. What'd you do? No, I'm just kidding. It's not always a man's fault. Look at this. He found that the loneliness of a cold marriage even lonelier than being alone. I get that. So now he's polyamorous and is into non-monogamy. And he's realized because of a largely schmegzeless marriage, he could never explore those sides. Why do you think that marriage was schmegzeless? I don't know. Maybe you suck in bed and don't send her pleasure. Or maybe you saw it as an exchange. She owes you this. So maybe she was faking headaches and all that time. Or maybe she doesn't like to have schmegs with someone who acts like her child. I don't know. That's just what I've heard. But look at this, what he said. One thing I quickly discovered is, wow, you really don't have to play any games at this point in life. I don't have to tell any story that's not true about me. And neither do they. Okay. One of the things that we really need to start focusing on more is that men being players and men lying to get women to date them and have schmegs with them and have babies with them, that is manipulation and coercion. He's like full on admit, I don't have to lie anymore to get women to sleep with me. Okay, good for you. So one of the other women they interviewed, who's 64, said she felt bolder now. She felt bolder now in part because unlike younger women who are under the pressure to settle down, have kids, have that security thing, she didn't have to worry about that anymore. And then she describes like these dates where a man, like a delightful man, cooked her the best soup and breakfast and whisked her away to his condo in Florida. Have fun again. Y'all, these women, I'm pretty sure they're not going to marry these men. These women are doing what I did before I got married when I was in my like tender bender up in, my late 30s and early 40s. I was just out having a good time, having all these lovers. Woo, no stay, just fun. You can eat my and cook me food, and then I don't have to deal with all your crap, right? I understand the pushback against hookup culture because hookup culture centers men and is all about men. But I have nothing against hooking up because the older you get, the more you realize that actually getting into a relationship with a man, unless he is someone who's really doing the work of unpacking patriarchy and is, healing any of his trauma and all that stuff, dating a man, having a relationship with a man, living with a man is very high risk. So it sounds like these women are just having fun. Now, again, you should not be driving 3 hours to have fun. But I love what she says here. Ms. Denton would like to fall in love again, but she has also fallen in love with herself and realizes that she is the only company she needs. She goes to the beach, spends time with friends, and plans a role in a stained glass making class. If I had to spend the rest of my life alone, I'd be fine with it now. I love my life. So the women in this article seem to be doing great, more or less. And they're probably not going to marry these men. I hope they don't marry these men because most likely they're going to be hospice wives. But the other thing, this is so funny because this does not make a case for dating when you're old, especially men. Look at this. People interviewed for this article mention how frustrating it is to meet people with these toxic behaviors that have calcified over decades. So Ms. Denton, the one I was just talking about, said that a lot of these men turned out to be compulsive liars, or she suspected they had alcohol issues because of that escapism thing we talk about all the time. Soberside talks about this a lot. She has interacted with men who clearly did not bother to read her profile. And some of them even sent, nude photos. Other people interviewed talked about, schmegdual dysfunction, which is a huge risk when you date older men we do not talk enough about, and the threat of being scammed. I had 2 different men try to scam me on those apps. And, I have a pretty big BS detector. Imagine being a woman, an older woman, did not grow up with social media, certainly did not grow up with dating apps. Some of these men will find very clever ways to get you to pay for stuff. Because I would argue there's more hobo schedules out there than men with lots of money trying to control you. Even men with money still will scam you. So that article did not sell me on dating when you're older. If anything, it proved everything I've been saying. There is no point of women dating old men.